Hey guys, Jonathan Selinsky here with Distinguished Tactical. Today we're going to be talking about upgrading the scene lights on the battlewagon. For those of you that have been following my upgrades to the battlewagon, you'll know that upgrading the scene lights was one of my top priorities. There was a couple of reasons for this. One, the current lights used halogen bulbs. They draw a lot of power from the battery bank. This is fine for paramedics because they've constantly got the truck running, charging the batteries. I wanted to be able to run my truck without having an engine going, so I wanted something that drew a little bit less power. Two, I wanted to be able to upgrade them because the lenses on the lights were cracked and faded. The problem is the only people that buy these lenses and the lights are the government for fire trucks and ambulances, so their price is outrageous. The cheapest one I found online was $170 per light unshipped, so I still had to pay for shipping and taxes on top of that, so I was looking at closer to $200 per light. I needed 6 at a minimum. As you can guess, this quickly took away my dreams of upgrading the scene lights. Fortunately, a little searching on Amazon over a couple of weeks, I finally found a light that was LED that I'd found a review for a guy that had converted an ambulance into a work truck and was able, with a little bit of modification, to mount these to the truck. These came in at a much lower price point of $43 for a set of 2 lights, which means I only needed 3 sets to be able to outfit all the scene lights on the truck. This also allowed me to turn this into this. So the biggest difference between these lights and the original lights, or the lights that were manufactured for an ambulance box, was that the back was a lot more square instead of it being rounded. This meant that I was going to have to cut the aluminum sheeting that makes the box so that I could accommodate the new light. There was only a little bit that needed to be cut off, but I still had to do it. After measuring everything out, the first thing I had to do was mark where I needed to do the cuts. Fortunately, the height and the width of the actual hole was the right size, I just needed to cut the corners out. Once the corners were cut, I had the right size hole for where the light needed to mount. Now I just needed to get the light ready. The first thing I had to do was remove the mounting bracket that the light came with. I wasn't going to need this bracket at all because I was going to screw it straight into the aluminum box. Next, I needed to remove the bevel that was going around the light. This bevel screwed directly into the light from behind, so I pulled those screws out and I had to drill a hole so that I was able to run a screw through the other way that would actually pull the light into the box. Before drilling out the bevel, I decided to cut off the old connector for the old light bulb. I was then able to wire this into the new light so that I could still use the disconnect. Next, I drilled a hole through the bevel from the back going to the front. I started with a small drill bit just to drill out the hole and then used a larger drill bit to get the diameter I needed. Now it was time to mark the spots for the new holes to mount the light. I first mounted the light in and then marked with the drill bit where I needed to drill out, remove the light, and then drill the holes. I was then able to connect and mount the light and then drill out the bottom 2 holes for mounting those screws. Overall, I think it was a pretty quick day to get all the lights swapped out. Only took a couple of hours to do all 6 lights. You can see the huge difference it makes both aesthetically and from the actual illumination it gives off, and these lights draw a lot less power than the halogen lights it had on before. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to Distinguished Tactical on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram.